Can we put your ego aside for a minute? Something important has happened.
If there's anything more important than my ego on this ship, I want to cut and shut right now. Hey, come on. I love it.
News Talk 1430 WXNT, and you're on the edge of the web with Aaron Sparks.
What are you trying to say, Dan?
Love it.
You're back with Aaron Sparks, with John Thompson with Site Strategics. This is Edge of the Web Radio. We're talking about search engine optimization for your company's website. And if you don't know where you are, if you don't know where you rank, you don't know the value of your domain, you're losing opportunity. Mm-hmm. And that's what we are really trying to bring to businesses. You can call us through the show at local area code 317-228-1430, or you can actually reach us on toll-free at 886-440-1430. This is a show provided by Site Strategics. You can find us on Google, which is typing in Indiana Internet Marketing and the like.
Hit the voice command on your phone and say Indiana Search Optimization.
Ooh,
and we'll pop
I
right
like
out.
that. Oh my gosh, Siri, find me Indiana SEO. Guess what? We're gonna be right there. Alrighty. Guess what? There are more Google updates coming our way. If you haven't heard enough, literally, this year has been rife with changes from Google, and that directly affects your search engine or your website's value. A question that you can pose to yourself, or actually, I mean, I'm speaking to the business owner right now. If you talk to your webmaster or your IT person, has your site's ranks been affected over the last 6 months? That's a main question that you need to be able to ask. You should always have the knowledge of where you are, okay, and where you have been in your search engine ranking performance, and on top of that, where your targets are. What key phrases are you wanting to perform on? What do you think your customers are searching on? I mean, there's a whole other realm of keyword research I'm going to talk about here in a second, but the point is, there has been a series of events here this year, and I think I can't say that. I think this year has been most filled with changes, at least over the last 5 years. I know there's a number of updates, hundreds of updates that they do regularly throughout the year, but these have been very big. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest ones that came through was on April 25th. It was codenamed Penguin. And it affected, they say, about 3% of websites. I'm saying that there's a heck of a lot more that actually got affected during that. If you were tracking these keywords, you may also have seen a drop in your traffic to the website. That's also a must. You must have analytics running on your website. So you got to have two things. If you can get anything out of this conversation here, two things that you must have. You must have a knowledge of where you're ranking. This is not just typing a search phrase on Google and hit or miss, maybe this one, maybe this one. You need to have a strategy. You need to know where your consumers are actually typing in.
Right.
You need to know an inventory of what current rankings you've got, and it's easy enough to do that. And we at Site Strategics provide that to our clients, and a lot of times we'll actually provide this type of report for our companies who actually come in and consult with us before we even get started, just to have a full knowledge of where they're performing, right?
That's right. I mean, there is a level of we still need to talk to the client and find out what keywords are valuable to you, what's going to get you the most conversions. Mm-hmm. But yeah, absolutely. You got to know the keywords, and your other point was Google Analytics. And being able to see what traffic is coming in and what they're typing in. Are they typing in keywords they haven't even thought of?
That's right.
That's kind of stuff you need to know.
If you've been spamming Google, fasten your seatbelts. Okay, if anybody out there has been taking content from other websites and putting it on your own website, if you've been doing a lot of link building, if you've actually hired a company that you don't know where they're getting their links from, and all of a sudden you're getting more and more links than you ever thought you could, it may be that you're spamming Google, and Google is going to make you pay a penalty for this. There are going to be a lot of jolts from this anti-spam Penguin update. It's not just one update. These algorithms changes, usually there's a big hit, and then there's a number of additional changes and modifications and refinements that Google's actually putting forth. Speaking at SES, San Francisco conference, the head of Google's spam fighting team, Matt Cutts, talked about that Google is still adjusting the Penguin update. He actually said, if you remember, in the early days of Panda, which was the earlier update, it took several months for us to kind of iterate the algorithm. And the Panda impact tended to be somewhat larger. That was around April 2011. The update incorporated new signals like sites that users block. Later on, the Panda updates had less impact over time as they stabilized the signals algorithm, and Panda moved closer to near monthly updates. Likewise, they're in the early stages of Penguin, where the engineers are incorporating new signals and iterating to improve the algorithm. Because of that, expect that the next few Penguin updates will take longer, incorporate additional signals, and as a result, will have more noticeable impact. So it's not the case that people should just expect data refreshes for Penguin quite yet. So from an SEO environment, from our industry, everybody's kind of on pins and needles waiting for another shoe to drop. Okay.
Right. I just got a flashback of a client go, wait a minute.
Back
so
to
what do I need to do? What does that mean for me? I don't know how many times you've heard that one, right?
Exactly. I'm sorry. I just completely geeked out on you just there.
This guy's like the spokesperson for
Right.
The White House, right?
Yeah.
For us as the
Exactly.
press.
Exactly. Well, he's not a carny. He can actually say things that are understandable. Matt Cutts has been in Google for a very long time, and he actually is one of the major voices for Google when it comes down to search engine changes. We're all paying attention to what Google says about certain things, what they like, what they don't like. Like I said, we don't know all the factors. They don't reveal all the factors, but they do have a regular communication, and that's one of those points of contact is Matt Cutts. So what he says is you need to pay attention. It's like E.F. Hutton, right? Mm-hmm. I think I just dated myself again. It's the fact that, well, I'll tell you what it means to you from a business owner is that, well, first, you don't need to really pay attention to Matt Cutts. You do need to make sure that your webmaster or your SEO agency, whomever, is actually manning the oars for your search engine optimization, is paying attention to what's going on.
Right.
Because if they're not looking at ranks of your website, then change agency immediately.
Yeah, that's about right.
If they're not looking at the traffic and giving you actual insights of, hey, we've had a loss here or there's some position drop here, you need to have somebody that's in there and actually paying attention to this, right? Mm-hmm. Let me give you an example of what's actually going on here. Google's actually now paying attention to filings of the DMCA Digital Media Millennium Copyright Act. What that means is if you have taken content from Site Strategics and you're hosting it on your own website, okay? I wrote that content. I don't want you to benefit from that whatsoever. So I can actually file a DMCA filing that says it's just a copyright infringement, right? Mm-hmm. That's at that point in time, that's just an allegation. Okay.
Right.
And there's a regular court proceeding that goes through.
But to Google, it's guilty? Is that what you're saying?
Google is evaluating even the allegations of copyright infringement right now. They're actually polling that water.
So if we both wrote copyright, I wrote it first.
Right.
Actually, let's say you wrote it first, I wrote it, I took it from you, then I filed the complaint.
Boom.
You think that's going to hurt you?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that and there's even talk of we're just waiting for SEO companies to actually jump into those waters and start filing DMCA filings to try to separate and try to also black mark some of their competitors.
Right, because we talked about previous shows about link building and how you could actually, Google will penalize you if you get your links from a bad site.
That's right.
And there's sites that'll go after and target their competition and
bowl them over.
Yeah.
That's called bowling. And this is another thing. Did they really think this thing through?
Right.
You know, it's logical. Okay, if there's a copyright infringement, well then, and let's pay attention to that. Mm-hmm. If they have more than one, if they have a couple proceedings happening, we may want to pay attention to that individual and the individual's website.
Right.
So they would start penalizing sites with repeat copyright violations. And probably via the DMCA takedown request. Timing was stated as starting next week, and that was back on 8/13, so it's happening.
You know what makes me aggravated is this probably won't affect YouTube, right?
Right.
It won't affect the big boys that have their maybe copyrighted content. You know what I'm talking
Actually,
about?
no, it is. Actually, Hollywood's not liking this whatsoever because there's some copyright. And
Hollywood's been taking down music videos forever off of YouTube,
Right.
when they shouldn't even, when they might have like a reference of a song.
Right.
These big boys abuse the system, and then the little guys they get their hurt from it, right?
Yep, absolutely. Well, I mean, anyone can file a request here, and it's not proof of copyright infringement. It's merely an allegation. One could be challenged, but Google evaluates each request, and if it's deemed valid, content is removed. So you can actually get content removed right now from Google if there's an actual infringement request that's happening. But now they're actually looking at the actual filing. So that just happened this week. Chronology of events just recently of what Google was doing. And back in June, July, there was another update up to August 10th. As a package, as a Panda update happening. There were some link warnings coming out on July 19th. That were sent through. There's a system called Webmasters Tools. If your site's plugged into that, they'll actually alert your website via messaging that you have some erroneous links or some negative links, and there's a penalty happening. That was on June 19th. The Penguin happened April 24th. After weeks of speculation, there was this over-optimization penalty where Google finally rolled out this web spam update, which soon after was codenamed Penguin, right? They adjusted a number of spam factors, including keyword stuffing. And here's another point: if you have a mess of keywords in your meta content, or on your page, if you're overusing particular phrases, you need to get that stuff out, because it's not. If you didn't get hurt this round, you're going to get hurt in the subsequent rounds, because they're just warning people now. They're flat out saying you're going to get slapped. And pretty strong now. I mean, they're taking this stuff very seriously. You can't game the system.
I don't think that they should resort to physical abuse, though. I don't think that.
Well, sometimes
Slapping.
you know what? Sometimes that's well, I wouldn't mind slapping Google sometimes, but hey. So if this is too much tech, here's the point. This post-Penguin environment here, you got to understand something more importantly. You got to understand your link profile. This is essential knowledge in this environment. The biggest risk factors are a combination of lots of low-quality links to your website with targeted anchor text. There seems to be some evidence that there's a new kind of 60% threshold of matching anchor text. Anchor text is if you've got a number of keywords that are coming from a lot of different links into your website, they exactly match, have the same phrase, right? If you have so many that are exactly the same, you're going to get penalized because it looks like it's just unnatural. So how do you find that out, right?
Yep.
Well, guess what? If you don't know the links to your website, you should, because Google knows it, and you may be getting penalized for it. There's a great tool out there, a free tool called OpenSiteExplorer. It's not actually free. OpenSiteExplorer.org. You can actually see your links. You at least poll what the top 10 links are and top link text that you've got. That immediately you need to go to and check out. Just put your name in there, OpenSiteExplorer.org, and you'll be able to check that out. Now, it's a paid service to get the full list, but guess what? Contact us at Site Strategics, and we'll actually analyze your links during a free consultation so we can actually give you and arm you with this information. We're going to be continuing here in the next several minutes. You can call us again at 317-228-1430. You're listening to News Talk 1430 WXNT. Talk to you real soon about 5 things you need to know when hiring an SEO consultant. Be right back.